Good morning. This is your 10 a.m. daily weather briefing, still continuing with some partly cloudy skies out around the area this morning, and mainly some high clouds and a few lower level clouds at points further north. We have seen the temperature rise above freezing already this morning, with the temperature sitting around 34 degrees and still looking at light and variable to calm winds locally here. Should see a fairly quiet weather day as we move through our working hours today. We will see a chance for some light rain, possibly mixing with some light snow as we move into the overnight and early morning hours of tomorrow, and potentially maybe another round of some light snow later tomorrow night as well. So we'll take a look at that here momentarily. If we look at the current surface analysis, high pressure is centered over the southeast, keeping things fairly quiet locally. This Clipper system up to the north is going to continue tracking eastward. It's going to bring a boundary and another shot of some cooler air into the local area as we move through that overnight time frame this evening. If we take a look at the current visible satellite, we can see those mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies with some high clouds moving through the area. And again, that lower level cloud deck well to the north will stay partly cloudy through much of the day, but as that Clipper system or that front starts to approach, we will see increasing clouds as we get into the later afternoon and evening time frame, becoming mostly cloudy to overcast. We'll take a look at the high resolution model for how we expect things to play out as we move through the next several days. As mentioned, dry and quiet conditions as we move through the day today, and increasing clouds going into the evening time frame. That's when we'll see that boundary start to approach. As indicated by the model here, do expect initially the precip to fall as rain before potentially transitioning and mixing or becoming all snow as we get closer to daybreak tomorrow, with some of the cooler air catching up. A few models do have this on the cooler side or less in the way of precipitation than what this particular model is showing. Overall, not expecting a significant amount of precipitation, so any rain would be on the lighter side, and any snow would also be on the lighter side, with little accumulation, maybe up to a dusting, or worst case scenario, half an inch is the way things are looking right now. We'll continue tracking the latest model data coming out this morning to keep an eye on that, and then we'll also be keeping an eye on this kind of secondary wave of energy that looks to try to come together tomorrow during the late afternoon and into the evening time frame. As you can see here, model indicating some light rain mix initially, and then becoming most likely a light snow as we go into the evening time frame. Now, it is worth noting that some models, particularly the global models, are still not really showing any of this. It's more on the high-res models kind of indicating this potential, so there's still some uncertainty here, and nevertheless it does initially at least look like this will be on the lighter side as well, so possibly another coating or up to a half an inch with this. But that's another thing we'll be watching with some of the latest models coming out today to see that trend as it unfolds. And then on the back side of that, we will see some colder conditions moving in as we get into the end of the week, setting up for a cold weekend. And things will clear out with just some slightly breezy conditions as we move through the day on Thursday. We'll zoom out here looking at the longer term European model here, starting off on Friday morning. We see continued dry conditions around the area on Friday. We'll be on the cooler side once again, and we'll see another potential Clipper system moving into the area late Friday into the early morning hours of Saturday morning. The European model quite dry with this boundary pushing through, so low probs on seeing the precip here, but do have some other indications of maybe some light snow coming through during that time frame as well. We will have the cold air in place for that, but again, looking fairly dry and not expecting much accumulation with that at this time either. On the back side of that, we will see a tighter pressure gradient through the day on Sunday with that Arctic air moving into the area, so it's going to set up for a cold and windy day for Saturday. And we'll see breezy conditions continuing into Sunday as high pressure is slow to build into the area, and we'll continue with those cold temperatures as well. And we'll start to see things trying to moderate a bit as we go into the day on Monday, as we see this ridge off to our west. Generally, models are showing that moving in over the area as we get towards the middle or later portion of the week, so we could see some milder temperatures moving into the area in the 7 to 10 day outlook here. But Looking at the 24-hour weather chart for today, we do have green conditions through our working hours today. Winds should stay light and variable, and then stay fairly light, picking up a southerly component as we move into the evening time frame. We'll see our high temperature up around 42 degrees for today, with some partly cloudy skies continuing, and mainly just some high clouds around the area before we get into the evening, when we'll start to see some more mid-level and lower level clouds building in as that boundary starts to approach. Only expecting our temperature to bottom out around 31 degrees with a slight, fairly weak southerly wind, so that's going to help keep that precip that does move into the area as rain initially. So we do indicate that orange risk for precip as we move through the morning hours of Wednesday, and as we get into towards the sunrise time frame, that's when we start to see a potential for some mixing light snow with that. But again, expecting any accumulation of snow to be on the order of a dusting, or possibly worst case up to a half of an inch, and with that could see some reduced visibility, so do indicate that yellow risk there for that, as that we'll see those winds turning northerly, bringing in some cooler air, but still staying fairly light as we get into the start of the day on Sunday. Tides are running slightly above normal and starting to moderate. Wednesday, as mentioned, going to see mostly cloudy conditions through today. That slight chance of maybe some lingering light rain, snow early to start today, but we'll see that drying out before we see that next potential wave of energy moving in later in the afternoon or into the evening time frame. So we do have that yellow risk for another potential for some light snow moving through during that afternoon evening time frame. And again, with this looking fairly light at this time, so expecting new accumulation to be on the order of a dusting or up to a half an inch possible. And we keep that yellow into the first part of the Wednesday evening time frame, as could see some lingering light snow early, and then we'll see that moving out of the area with the clouds gradually starting to clear out, setting up for a partly cloudy day on Thursday. We'll see above freezing for Wednesday with a high of 37 degrees. We'll be back down below freezing Wednesday evening with a low around 22 degrees, and we'll be just above freezing for Thursday before we set up for colder air going into the weekend. So zooming out here and looking at the 7-day forecast, as mentioned, we'll see partly cloudy, slightly breezy conditions on Thursday. Friday we'll see partly cloudy for much of the day, increasing clouds again ahead of that next boundary potentially moving through the area, giving about a 25% chance of seeing some late PM light snow with that boundary pushing through, and that's when we'll see that next more substantial shot of some Arctic air moving in, with those temperatures struggling to get to or above freezing as we move through the weekend time frame here. As you can see, a high of Saturday of 32, high of Sunday of 29, and there's overnight lows into the teens. And with that, on Saturday and Sunday, we will have some breezy conditions. It's going to make those temperatures feel much colder as well, but generally mixing between partly and mostly cloudy at times through the weekend. And then slow moderating temperatures just above freezing as we get into Monday, with partly cloudy and slightly breezy conditions. And as mentioned, it does look like we'll see some milder temperatures moving in later in the week, at least the way things are looking currently. So that's going to wrap up the 10 a.m. daily weather briefing. We'll be back again tomorrow at 8:15. Enjoy the rest of your day.